CreepyCorner stories.
Hey everyone, welcome back to CreepyCorner stories. You know, diving into the dark web is always risky, but sharing these stories with you makes it worth it. I'm curious, where are you watching this from right now? Let me know in the comments below. I've noticed that these kinds of stories hit differently depending on where you are. It might even make the experience a little creepier. So, tell me, are you watching from the safety of your home or somewhere less secure? The dark web documented a secret Mars mission, and the screaming never stops. Hey Reddit, throwaway account here, because I don't really know how deep this rabbit hole goes. If anything happens to me after posting this, I need someone to know what I saw. Even if you think it's all a story, hell, I hope it is. But I lived this, and I wish I hadn't. So a little about me. I'm a 22-year-old film student in Chicago, working part-time at a Starbucks in Wicker Park. I spend way too much time online, like most people my age, but I've always had a thing for creepy videos, analog horror, haunted TikToks, weird YouTube channels with no context, you name it. You ever go down those rabbit holes where you end up watching an hour-long, disturbing lost footage compilation at 3 a.m. and start hearing things in your apartment? That's me, almost nightly. Anyway, it all started because I was doing a project for one of my media classes. The assignment was to create a mockumentary using found footage, style editing. Think Blair Witch Project or Marble Hornets. So I was digging around for inspiration, trying to find something real that I could build a story around. That's when a Discord friend, someone I only knew by the name Error Signal 77, sent me a link. All they said was, "Want something the algorithm will never show you?" The link wasn't a typical YouTube or Vimeo thing. It looked sketchy, like early 2000s internet. Just raw HTML with glitchy GIFs in the corners. There was a single embedded video on the page. No title, no description. Just a static-filled thumbnail and a play button that pulsed when you hovered over it. Curiosity got the best of me. I clicked play. At first it looked like a badly compressed VHS rip. There were NASA logos, but they were old, like 80s Cold War era. The footage was black and white, grainy. There were clips of astronauts boarding a shuttle I didn't recognize. It wasn't the space shuttle. It was taller, sleeker, with weird fins that looked almost insect-like. Text appeared on screen in a typewriter font. Mars mission, 1997, black site launch. Footage classified by order of Majestic 12. Okay, so right off the bat, I thought it was fake. Creepy ARG stuff, right? I was into it. But then the scream started. At first, you couldn't tell if it was audio distortion or people screaming in the background. The footage cut to what looked like the interior of the ship. There was this dim, flickering red emergency light. The astronauts looked panicked. One of them was clawing at the helmet of another, as if trying to pull it off. Then the video glitched. Hard. Frame tearing. Loud static. Like the video was trying to hide what came next. I swear, for a split second, I saw something behind the astronauts. Not a person. Not even an animal. It was like a silhouette of something that had too many limbs and was moving upside down. The video cut to black. No outro. Just this creepy low-frequency hum. My speakers buzzed like they were going to blow out. Then the words came on screen. If you've seen this, It's already too late. I closed the browser, sat there like an idiot, staring at my own reflection in the black screen. I thought maybe it was a prank video or some indie horror project trying to go viral. But here's where things got weird. About 20 minutes later, I got a DM from Error Signal 77. "Did you watch it to the end?" I replied. "Yeah. Creepy as hell." They responded instantly. "You need to unplug your router. Right now, they can ping your IP if you viewed it long enough." I laughed it off, but then my screen went black for a second, just flickered off and on. I thought my laptop was dying. Then my phone buzzed. An airdrop request. I hadn't airdropped with anyone lately, and I was home alone. The name of the device was Not Earth Eyes. I didn't accept it, but the airdrop wouldn't go away. It just kept popping up every 5 seconds. I had to turn off Bluetooth to stop it. At this point, I was spooked. I tried to go back to the sketchy site, but it was gone, completely scrubbed. My browser history said 404, page not found. Even the cached version was wiped. That never happens. Over the next few days, things just got worse. I started noticing random knocks at my apartment door late at night, always between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. When I looked through the peephole, nobody was there. My roommate James, who usually works night shifts at McDonald's near Millennium Park, told me someone had been sitting outside our building in a black SUV, no plates, just parked there for hours, sometimes with the engine running. He thought it was just a creeper or something, but I started getting calls too. Unknown numbers. When I picked up, no one talked. Just the same low hum from the end of that video. And then last night, everything escalated. My MacBook, unplugged, closed, and inside my backpack, turned on by itself. I watched it open to a new browser window. It was a Google Earth view, but it wasn't anywhere near Earth. It zoomed into Mars, coordinates locked, 18.65 degrees north, 226.2 degrees east. There was a black blur over the site, like Google had redacted it, but for half a second, the image glitched, and I saw something underneath. It looked like a base, a real structure, hexagonal, covered in red dust, and there were people outside of it, in suits, lying down. No one was moving. I didn't sleep the night I saw that Google Earth Mars image. I just sat there, wide awake, staring at my MacBook screen like it was counted down to something. Every time I blinked, I saw the red dust, that base, and those motionless suits. The worst part? I'm pretty sure one of them was looking at the camera before the image glitched out again. You know how sometimes your brain convinces you something's not real, just to keep you from breaking down. I wanted to believe it was some crazy ARG or viral stunt, but things don't just glitch on satellite imagery like that. You don't just airdrop someone from a phantom device named Not Earth Eyes. That's not creative fiction. That's something else. The next morning, I called James. He didn't answer. I assumed he crashed at his girlfriend's place again. He does that sometimes after work. But then I got a text. It was just a screenshot. No message. It was a picture of James, taken from behind, walking to his car. Time-stamped 5:37 a.m. I know that's not scary on its own, but the angle, it was taken from inside our building, from the hallway, right outside our apartment door. I tried calling again, straight to voicemail. I was pacing, trying to figure out if I should go to the cops or if I was just going completely off the rails when the doorbell rang. Not the front door. The door to my bedroom. Let me explain. My bedroom door doesn't have a bell. It's a basic hollow core slab from Home Depot. Cheap as hell. And it sure as hell isn't wired to any kind of chime. But I heard it. Plain as day. That old school analog ding-dong. My skin went cold. Like freezer burn cold. I stood there for probably a full minute, paralyzed. Then I slowly reached for the doorknob. I opened the door. Nothing. Empty hallway. But there was something taped to the outside of the door. A Polaroid. It was a picture of my bed, taken from directly above it, as if someone had been floating above me while I slept. Except I hadn't slept. That night I was awake the whole time, which meant someone came in, saw me awake, took the photo anyway. I started digging. I went back to every forum, every Discord server, even some sketchy Telegram channels. I asked about the Mars footage, the video, the coordinates. Most people ghosted me. A few laughed and told me to take my meds, but then someone responded. A user with the name MIR Hatch14 messaged me privately. They sent me a link, but not a website, and .onion address. I needed Tor to access it. I know. I shouldn't have clicked it. I knew it was a bad idea, but curiosity's a stronger drug than fear. I loaded up Tor, entered the address. It took me to a black page with white text. Plain. Brutal. They weren't supposed to come back. That's all it said. Then a file started auto-downloading. A zip titled transmission _8-4-97 _SSTN.mp4. I opened it. It was a 17-minute video. The timestamp said August 4th, 1997, over 2 months after the Mars launch footage from the first video. It opened on static, then faded in on what looked like helmet cam footage. The image was distorted, reddish, dusty. Audio was choppy, full of interference. Don't open it. Just keep it locked. What the hell is that? Then silence. And then the screen went black. Just for a second. When it faded back in, the camera was inside a corridor. Metal walls. Rusty. Almost wet-looking. The astronaut breathing was ragged. Rapid. The kind of hyperventilating you hear from someone trying to suppress a scream. He passed a hatch. Above it, scrawled in smeared black marker, "This is not the planet we left." Then the audio changed. It wasn't static anymore. It was a voice. Not human. It didn't speak a language I understood. It was like words were being reversed, twisted, played backwards, through a throat that wasn't built for sound. And then, something appeared in the video. Just for a second. Something tall, but bent, like its bones were misaligned. It had joints that shifted the wrong way. You could hear it walking, the sound of metal screeching, like claws dragging across the floor. The astronaut ran, heavy breathing, the camera jostling violently, but the breathing got slower, calmer, and then, suddenly, stopped. Camera hit the floor. Black screen again. Then, frame by frame, the video began to show photos. They weren't footage anymore, just flashes. Each one a freeze frame, accompanied by a rising high-pitched whine, like a dentist's drill. Photo 1. A lab, filled with what looked like bodies. Human bodies, in suits, torn open, because you're not the viewer. You're the feed. No one ever tells you what it feels like to watch yourself die from the outside, to see your own face looped on someone else's screen, to know your memories, your voice, your smile. They're just pixels now, playing on a feed you didn't agree to be in. But I know, because I've been dying every night, in front of an audience, It's not just TikTok anymore. They've expanded. Now it's Instagram Lives that never end. Facebook Reels titled 0 views, glitch. Private YouTube links that autoplay when your eyes start to close at 2:47 a.m. Even Spotify started playing something I never added to my playlist. Just static, whispering, breathing, and then the laughter. The kind that's too human, but too wrong. Layered, pitch shifted, delayed. Like dozens of people laughing at different times, trying to mimic how joy sounds. They laugh because it's funny to them. The pain, the breaking, the twitching, the begging. The begging is their favorite part. I left Chicago. I hitchhiked. No GPS. No phone. I made it to a gas station out near a place called Junction Void, Missouri. Yeah, that's a real place. Look it up if you dare. The guy pumping gas next to me looked familiar. I asked if he'd seen me before. He just said, "Yeah, man. You were trending." I asked him where. He looked at me like I was a joke, then said, dead serious, "Inside. Inside." That word means more now. It's not just a location, it's a state. The feed isn't a place you go to, it's a frequency. Once you're tuned to it, it finds you. Even without the internet, even without power, even in the dark. That night, in the gas station bathroom, I found another mirror, but it didn't show my reflection. It showed a waiting room, rows of people in hospital gowns, all dancing, slow, twitchy, bleeding from the ears. Every time one of them collapsed, something long and black slithered from the ceiling and dragged them out, leaving a smear of static in their place. Then a new person sat down, started dancing. Loop restarted. I touched the mirror. It was warm, not like electronics, warm like meat. My fingers left marks, fingerprints made of static. The wall started absorbing them, like the glass was tasting me. Then it whispered, "You've been live for too long." I ran again, found a motel with no mirrors, no smart devices, paid cash, but the receptionist still knew my name. She smiled without blinking and slid me the room key wrapped in a note that said, "Tonight's audience is larger than usual. Please perform well." I destroyed the room, smashed the light bulbs, tore the mattress open, clogged the toilet with every towel, but the TV still turned on at midnight. It didn't show a feed. It showed me, not dancing, not screaming, just sitting in a chair in some colorless void, while pieces of me were removed. First the fingernails, then the eyelids, then the cheeks, peeled like fruit, layer by layer. But I was still smiling, still streaming. In the top corner, 1.3 million viewers, and a chat log. He blinks weird lol. Does anyone know if this is AI? So realistic, WTF. I want to make a duet with this. He's faking it, LMAO. I pulled the TV off the wall. It kept playing. I covered it in the shower curtain and shoved it into the mini fridge. It kept playing. I closed my eyes. It played behind my eyelids, like someone had uploaded the video directly to my optic nerve. Every time I blinked, it skipped forward. Every skip made me less me. And then, the feed paused. A new screen. Final upload detected. Proceed with body extraction? Yes. No. But there was no cursor, because I wasn't the one choosing anymore. They chose. I woke up in a room colder than death. Not room 006. Not room 013. It didn't have a number, just a tag. Feed end, deletion in progress. The walls weren't walls, they were screens. Each one showed a different version of me. Me as a kid, filmed by my parents in the backyard. Me lip-syncing to Renegade in 2020, cringe as hell. Me eating fries at McDonald's last summer. Me getting dumped. Me laughing alone at 2 a.m. in the glow of my phone. All of it. Every digital breath I've ever taken. On display. Judged. Ranked. Looped. Above me, something was floating. Not a body. Not a machine. A pile of faces. Hundreds of them. Melted together. Smiling. Blinking. Some still crying. The audience. They watched me stand up. And they clapped. A sound so loud it made my bones vibrate. I tried to scream. No sound came out, because they had uploaded everything about me and left nothing behind. I woke up outside an abandoned Subway sandwich shop 2 states over. No memory of how I got there. No ID, no phone, just a cracked mirror on the ground next to me. It showed a notification. Thank you for your contribution. You were viewed 14,384,118 times. You are now a top streamer. That was 2 weeks ago. And now, I'm uploading this from a terminal I found in a public library in Idaho. Photo 2. A room full of teeth. Just teeth. No jaws. Piled like gravel. Photo 3. A figure in a white NASA suit, standing at the outside of the station, staring at Earth through a cracked visor. But where the face should be, just a cavity. Empty. Photo 4. A McDonald's bag. Yes, like the fast food one. Sitting on a red sandhill, the logo smudged with black oil. Photo 5. A group of people, astronauts, engineers, in a dimly lit conference room, watching a screen, their faces pale, gaunt, as if they hadn't slept in weeks. The screen they were watching, it was me, on my webcam, in my room. That wasn't footage from the past. That was right now. The video ended. I yanked the power cable, shut the laptop. I even put it in the freezer because I'd heard some weird YouTube tech guy say that kills signals. I don't even know what I was thinking. I walked into the bathroom, trying to pull myself together, splash water on my face, talk myself down. That's when I saw it. Not on the mirror, on my skin, on my left forearm. Someone had carved coordinates into my flesh, but the cuts weren't fresh. They were healed, like they'd been there for weeks, but hidden beneath my skin until now. 21 degrees, 3 minutes, 12.4 seconds. North, 157 degrees, 51 minutes, 27.5 seconds west. I searched the coordinates. Oahu, Hawaii. More specifically, Pearl Harbor. I don't know how I got them. I've never been to Hawaii. I've never left Chicago. I never sleepwalk. That night, I started bleeding from the nose while I was lying in bed, just out of nowhere. A full stream. It soaked the pillow. I went to the ER. They did a scan. No sign of trauma, but they did find something in my sinus cavity. A small metallic object, cylindrical, smooth, like a tracking implant. The nurse said it must have been surgical, maybe from an old procedure. I've never had surgery. The doctor took it out, sent it to a lab for analysis. They never got back to me. Instead, the hospital called the next day and told me my records had been transferred to a different facility. I asked which one. They said the name, but I couldn't find it online. It wasn't in their system. When I pressed, the call disconnected. That's when I realized something. This isn't just a video. This isn't just the deep web. Someone, or something, used that footage as a door, a signal, a code, and I answered it. If you made it this far, don't watch anything strange tonight. Don't click links from random people. And whatever you do, don't search for the Mars coordinates. Some things were never meant to be seen. Part 3 is next. I'm not sure how much longer I have. There's a reason they bury black boxes in planes. It's not just about recovering data after a crash. It's about containing the truth. But what happens when the black box isn't on a plane, but 54 million miles away, buried in red dust, recording things that should have died with silence? This isn't about paranoia anymore. This isn't about horror videos, or creepy args, or deep web treasure hunts. This is about something that was never meant to come back to Earth. And now that it has, it's looking for something, or someone. It's been 4 days since I found the object in my sinus cavity. 4 days since my hospital records vanished. 4 days since the Polaroids started appearing every morning, slid under my door like death threats, each one worse than the last. They started with stills of me asleep. Then, a photo of James, my roommate, lying face down on concrete, blood pooled around his head, his McDonald's uniform soaked, time-stamped 1:13 a.m. The police said they found his body in the alley behind our apartment. Head trauma, no witnesses, no CCTV footage, even though there's a city-owned cam on the next street over. The camera footage cut out exactly from 1:10 to 1:17, and when it returned, the lens was cracked from the inside. James was declared DOA. But here's what the news didn't say. The coroner's report, someone leaked it anonymously to my email, had a note scribbled in red pen: left eye removed, orbital cavity filled with fine red sand, tooth marks suggest non-human jaw. The next photo I received, it was a picture of me standing over James' body, only I hadn't been there. I was in my room, online, streaming. I went back to check the VOD of my Twitch stream, and at 1:13 a.m., my chair was empty for 7 straight minutes. I didn't remember leaving. I don't even know how I left. I knew I had to go to the source. The coordinates on my arm, Pearl Harbor. I scraped together what cash I could, bought a one-way ticket, didn't tell anyone, burned my phone, borrowed a laptop from a guy I met in a Discord server called Back Channel Theta. I only used public Wi-Fi, libraries, gas stations. I didn't log in anywhere. I used gloves when typing, but the photos kept coming, this time delivered by hand. When I got off the plane in Honolulu, a guy in a delivery uniform walked straight up to me, no hesitation, and handed me a yellow envelope. Didn't say a word, just nodded once. His irises were pitch black, not dark brown, not shaded, black, the kind of black that made my stomach twist, like I was staring into the eye of a dead animal. I took the envelope. Inside, another Polaroid. Me, standing in front of a sealed bunker door, Navy issued, rusted, half sunken into the jungle floor. There were claw marks on the steel, long, deep, like something inside had tried to get out. The photo had a timestamp. Today, 4:17 p.m., but the clock on my phone said 3:42 p.m. The picture was from 35 minutes in the future. I followed the coordinates, north of the visitor center, past the historical sites, into overgrown trails where no tourists went. I hiked deep into the vegetation until even the birds stopped making noise. Then I saw it, the bunker, exactly like the photo. The door was cold, freezing, despite the humidity, and when I got close, my phone restarted 3 times. I pulled out a cheap flashlight and turned the handle. The door opened with a groan like metal vomiting. The air inside smelled like copper and ozone, like old blood in a thunderstorm. It wasn't abandoned. It was preserved. Perfectly. The halls were clean. The lights flickered on when I stepped in. Some kind of emergency generator. The walls were covered in peeling maps of Mars, dozens of black and white photos of craters, handwritten labels in blocky all caps, Soul, 93. Return protocol. Breached subject, a 2. Still mobile, no more testing. We are inside it, now. The corridor bent left, then dropped into a spiral stairwell that reeked of bleach and decay. I descended. Each level got colder, not just in temperature, but in feeling. Like gravity was heavier, like my bones were vibrating with a frequency I couldn't hear, only feel. At the bottom, metal doors, a vault, 3 feet thick, and painted across the surface in smeared brown black, like someone used coagulated blood as ink. They brought back the scream. I pushed the door open. Inside was a chair, a single surgical chair, bolted to the center of a circular chamber, straps at the wrists, ankles, and forehead, all cut, torn loose. Around the chair were cameras, tripods, equipment, and a giant projection screen covered in red handprints on the inside. I hit play on the projector's console. The screen flared to life. Footage, raw, grainy, distorted, but real. An astronaut was strapped to the chair. He was screaming. His helmet was gone. Face peeling, nose collapsed, eyes replaced. Not gouged, replaced with what looked like tiny mirrors, reflecting a red landscape. Mars. He kept screaming something over and over, subtitled below, auto-generated by an ancient DOS-like overlay. We never left. We never left. It took us. It's still using us. Then suddenly, silence. He stopped, sat perfectly still, then turned his head to the camera, slowly, and smiled. The kind of smile that stretches skin. That isn't natural. The kind toddlers make when they mimic adults and don't know where to stop. And then, he spoke. They'll tell you I died out there, but I'm still here. You invited me in the moment you watched. He leaned forward. They sent us to extract samples. What we extracted wasn't a thing. It was a hunger. And now it's mapped you. Mapped. You. The screen cut to static. I turned around. The bunker wasn't empty anymore. Something was in the shadows, crawling, its limbs folded like origami. Every movement made the same noise as cracking fingernails. It clicked as it moved, like it was thinking, calculating, rehearsing how to become me. It didn't attack. It whispered, in my voice. You're already a recording. I ran. I don't remember getting back to the surface. I don't remember the flight home. I blacked out in the airport bathroom and woke up 12 hours later in my own bed, clothes clean, body untouched. Except one thing had changed. There was a note taped to my mirror. Part 4. Broadcast in 48 hours. You're the final subject. And underneath it, another Polaroid. This time, it wasn't of me. It was of you. Reading this, right now. Don't look behind you. If you're still here, pray it doesn't find your voice. Because once it does, it doesn't need your body anymore. I woke up choking on dirt. Not in bed, not in my room. I was face down in what felt like dry, compact soil. Except it wasn't earth. It smelled sterile, hollow, like the air forgot how to breathe. There was no sky, just red light bleeding through some kind of glass dome. Dust suspended mid-air like frozen static. The silence wasn't peaceful. It ached, like it was pushing inside my skull, trying to scream without making noise. And then I realized I was on Mars, but not the real Mars. This wasn't space. This was a simulation, a replica, a set, a prison. The walls were shaped like human ribs, arching overhead. Not actual bone, but bone-shaped metal, made to look like we're inside a giant carcass. Artificial wind howled like breathing. The floor pulsed beneath my knees, like it was alive. There were screens embedded in the walls, dozens of them. CRT monitors, cracked and glitching, playing endless loops of static. and garbled NASA transmissions. I recognized my voice on one of them, speaking backwards, and on the largest screen in the center, above a huge hatch with hazard tape peeling off like skin, I saw the title of the broadcast: Operation Hollow Sunrise. Subject 5, Final Transmission. Beneath it, a countdown, 0, 0, 2, 46. That's when I heard it again. The clicking, a sharp, wet, deliberate sound, like broken fingers tapping on glass from the inside. The same sound from the bunker, from the footage, the thing that had worn the astronaut's body like a costume. It was here, and it was getting closer. I tried to run, but the dome didn't have exits, just corridors that bent into impossible loops. Every turn I took brought me back to the same hallway. My breath fogged in front of me, even though it wasn't cold. And then I saw them, the others, pale, disoriented, wondering. Some were dressed in old NASA uniforms, torn, stained with oil, and something blacker than blood. Others looked like they had been pulled from different eras. A guy in a Pizza Hut manager's shirt from the 90s, a woman in a MySpace hoodie, a kid no older than 14 wearing TikTok merch. All of them had the same eyes, wide open, unblinking, filled with tiny reflections, mirrors, just like in the astronaut's face. Not dead, not alive, broadcasting. Each one carried a different object: a VHS tape, a broken laptop, a tape recorder, a GoPro, all recording, but not memories, frequencies. I ducked behind one of the monitor columns and watched as one of them, the kid, started to disintegrate. Not all at once, just peeling, like flakes of skin falling off a sunburn, except there was no body underneath, just tape, long black film tape, curling out of his mouth. The sound he made wasn't human. It was a dial-up tone, played backward and slowed down. Then something answered it from beneath the floor. I turned and ran, tripped, fell face first into a steel plate embedded in the floor. Engraved on it, every viewer is a subject. Each viewer becomes a broadcast. I felt it then, something in my spine, twitching, moving, like a worm trying to burrow out. I tore off my jacket and shirt, reached around, and dug my nails into the skin below my neck. It was wet. I pulled. A wire, thin, black, connected directly into me, inside me, running down into my back like I was plugged into a generator. I followed the wire, screaming, crying, whatever sanity I had left gone, until I reached another room. This one was full of chairs, surgical chairs, like the one from the Pearl Harbor bunker. But these weren't empty. There were people in them, hundreds, mouths stretched wide by surgical retractors, eyes stapled open with steel thread, all of them staring forward, toward massive curved screens, watching. And on the screens, me. I was the broadcast. I was being shown to them like a movie. Every moment, every word I'd spoken, every nightmare I'd lived, played on repeat. Then the screen changed. It showed Earth, a Starbucks, my old apartment, a Walmart parking lot, the White House, and then it zoomed in on you, your face, your device. The camera turned on without you noticing. The lens dilated like a pupil. You're already watching. The countdown ended. 0, 0, 0. The entire dome began to tremble. Dust rained down. The clicking turned into chewing, wet, sloppy, full of cartilage snapping force. Something was crawling out of the screens. An arm, but not human. It had fingers with fingernails on the inside, as if it wanted to grab your soul from within. Then came the sound, the one I can't describe, the one that made every person in that dome stop breathing at the same time. A noise that wasn't a noise. It made your teeth bleed. made your eardrums pulse like hearts, made the skin on your face try to peel itself off. It was the scream, the one the Mars team brought back, the one they buried in the black box beneath the Martian soil. And now, they were playing it for you. I blacked out again, woke up in my room, everything clean, normal, my laptop closed, curtains drawn, but taped to my chest was a USB drive, handwritten on it, for your followers, and one more Polaroid, not of me, not of you. This one showed an empty Earth, a planet without lights, no cities, just dust, and on the back, someone had written, "The last broadcast has begun. There is no one left to watch it. You're just a loop now. You're not reading this. You're remembering it. I'm not even sure I'm the one writing this anymore. The voice in my head doesn't sound like mine. My hands feel like they belong to a stranger. My thoughts skip like a scratched DVD, repeating words I didn't think, remembering things I never did. But I'm going to finish this, because the story isn't over. It's broadcasting right now, and it's using you." When I plugged the USB into the old laptop, it didn't show any files, no folders, no virus warning, just a single screen. "We are the playback." Then the room dimmed. The lights didn't go out. They dimmed, as if the bulbs were obeying something they hadn't before, and the screen went black. Then a video started playing, except it wasn't a video. It was a live feed of me, not a reflection, not a webcam feed. It was a third-person view. I was watching myself from behind, sitting in the chair, facing the screen, and behind me in the feed, something else was sitting. No face, no limbs, just a silhouette of muscle and film tape. A body made of noise, like an error code took on flesh. Its head was tilted, listening. Its chest rose and fell in sync with mine. Then it leaned in and whispered directly into my ear. "No one ever leaves the broadcast. You only switch channels. There's no difference between real and recorded anymore." I know that sounds crazy. I would have laughed at someone saying that just a few weeks ago, but not now. Now that I've seen how the broadcast grows, it doesn't spread like a virus. It spreads like an idea, but not the kind you think, not a thought you hear, not a belief. It spreads through sight. You see it. You remember it. It remembers you back, and the moment your brain registers what it saw, what it tried to forget, it begins rewriting you. I got confirmation when I finally opened the file. It wasn't data, it was a command. The USB didn't store anything. It rewrote, not the laptop. Me, my thoughts, my memories, my perception, the way I dream. It turned every single thing I've ever seen into a piece of a loop. That's all I am now. A segment, a scene, a timestamp on someone else's nightmare. I stopped eating, not because I'm scared, because I'm not hungry anymore. I started craving static. I'd put on a dead channel and just watch it for hours, and it would whisper things. In between the snowflakes of static, it said names I'd forgotten, places I'd never been, screams I never made. I started seeing things on TikTok too. Videos with 0 likes, no user, just a glitching thumbnail, the same red dust, a loop of a McDonald's sign flickering, a child crying, but his voice sounds like mine at 5 years old, and his eyes reflect Mars. I tried leaving, booked a train west, no destination, but I never got off, because every station was the same. People with Polaroids for heads, TV sets for faces, screaming silently, holding signs written in backward Latin, Mars, non-exit. Mars never left. And on the windows of the train, smudged with red fingerprints, I saw writing that chilled every cell in my spine. You're not on Earth. You're in the recording of Earth. And now I believe it. None of this is real. We've been watching the same moment over and over for years. We've just forgotten we were watching it. We are the archived footage. I woke up 2 nights ago with an antenna growing from my wrist, thin, metallic, with a red light at the tip that pulses in sync with my heartbeat. It retracts when I look directly at it, and when I try to sleep now, I hear a countdown in my blood, over and over. 6 viewers remaining, 5 viewers remaining, 4, 3, 2. It's not counting down to a time. It's counting people. People who saw the broadcast and didn't look away in time. Yesterday, I found a letter taped to my mirror. No stamp, no return address, just a white envelope. Inside was a script. My story, typed exactly as I've been telling it, word for word, including what I'm typing right now. At the bottom of the last page was a message in bold red ink. Final broadcast approved. Subject is ready for release. And behind the letter, taped to the glass, another Polaroid. This one, it's you, not watching, typing, retelling my story in your own words. Your mouth open like mine, your eyes wide, reflecting the screen. You're not a reader anymore. You're a broadcast point. They don't want you to be afraid. They want you to remember. Remember the red soil. Remember the scream. Remember that we never left Mars. Because Mars wasn't a planet. It was a signal. It was sent to Earth. And the moment we decoded it, it started building copies. Copies of people, places, worlds. And now it's replaying all of them. Forever. On loop. Until everyone becomes a viewer. And eventually, everyone becomes footage. So if you're reading this, you're already being remembered. And when you close your laptop tonight, when you lie in bed and stare at the dark, don't listen to the silence. Because if you do, you'll hear it. Just beneath the hum of the world. That sound. That horrible, never-ending static. The one that never stops. The one that never started. The scream. And then you'll understand what I finally do. There's nothing left to watch, because we're all part of the broadcast now. We never went to Mars. Mars came to us. Transmission complete. Signal terminated. Or maybe just paused. A famous TikToker went missing. Her final dance video was live streamed on the dark web with screams in the background. Hey Reddit, this story's been eating me alive for the past month and a half. I've only told a few people about it, and they all basically told me the same thing. Just move on, bro. You didn't know her personally. But that's the thing. I did know her. Or at least, I thought I did. Her name was Brianna Shea. Ring a bell? Yeah, the Brianna Shea. The girl who blew up on TikTok during 2022. Doing all those cringy, but weirdly addictive POV dance vids. She had like 9.3 million followers, brand deals with Starbucks and Pretty Little Thing, and even did a McDonald's promo meal that honestly kinda slapped. Loki, her version of the Filet-O-Fish with spicy buffalo sauce. Underrated. Anyway, she was everywhere for a while. Twitter, or X now, whatever. Instagram stories. Even had beef with Charlie D'Amelio once. Purely for clout, I think. But then, one day, she just vanished. No goodbye. No cryptic, I'm done story. No post. Just gone. The internet being the internet, people speculated. Drugs. Rehab. Mental health break. Someone even claimed she died in a Starbucks bathroom in Glendale, which got debunked real fast. But then something happened that didn't get debunked, and that's why I'm posting this, because I saw her, and not on TikTok, not on Instagram, but on the dark web. Let me explain. So, rewind to about 6 weeks ago. I'm not a hacker or anything, but I've always been kind of fascinated with the deep web, dark web culture. You know, those iceberg videos on YouTube that go like top 10 creepy sites you should never visit, but totally will. Yeah, I eat that stuff up. I downloaded Tor a while ago, mostly out of curiosity, and I'd occasionally browse those weird .onion sites just to see what the fuss was about. I never bought anything, nothing illegal, just lurked, like a tourist at a haunted museum. One night, I'm chilling in my dorm. I'm in my second year of college, BTW, and I get this message on Discord. Random user, no profile picture. Username was just 3 hash marks. The message just said, "She's not dead, she danced for them." That's it. No context. I thought it was spam, or maybe some messed up roleplay or LARP thing, so I ignored it. But then 10 minutes later, I get a link. Not a normal one. It was an onion address. Looked like gibberish. I don't know why I clicked it. Curiosity, boredom, whatever. But I copied it into Tor and hit enter. It took me to this pitch black site with just a single embedded video player in the center. No layout, no tabs, no ads, just a video. The title, Live, TikTok Queen, Final Performance. And under that, entry code required 665-785. I hesitated, but I typed in the code. I mean, it was literally her last name. The page loaded, buffering, and then the video started. Now, before I go on, what you need to understand is, this wasn't like some sketchy deepfake. I know what those look like. This was her, Brianna. Same exact room from her last few TikToks. The pink LED lights, the vintage Hello Kitty plushies on the bed, even the stupid ring light reflecting in the mirror behind her. But something was off. The way she was dancing wasn't normal. It was stiff, robotic, like her body was moving, but her face wasn't. Her eyes looked empty, not sad, not scared, just gone. She did that trending TikTok sound, that sped up version of Cupid by 50/50, except the audio kept glitching, not the usual laggy type, more like actual audio corruption. Every few seconds, there was this weird high-pitched sound behind the song. At first, I thought it was a messed up file, until I realized it was someone screaming, faint. But there, in the background of a TikTok dance video, I pulled my headphones off, heartbeat going nuts. What the hell was I watching? I scrubbed back. I played it again, still dancing, still smiling, still screaming. I screen recorded the last 10 seconds, but right as the clip ended, the stream glitched and the video player froze. Then the screen went black and one line of red text popped up. "You are not supposed to see that." And then my laptop shut off. Like, straight up. No warning. No blue screen. Just dead. I didn't sleep that night. My roommate thought I was tweaking on Adderall or something. But here's the part that really messed me up. When I checked Twitter the next morning, # Brianna Shea was trending. Someone claimed they saw her in Berlin, in a Starbucks, just standing there, looking at the pastries like nothing happened. No phone, no security. But when they tried to take a picture, she just walked into the staff hallway and vanished. Starbucks said no one like that came in. Security cams mysteriously overwritten. Another post said they saw her in New York, someone else in Seoul. like she was everywhere and nowhere at once. Look, I know how this sounds, like some dumb ORG or viral campaign for a horror movie or something, but trust me, it's not. Because the screen recording I saved, I tried to upload it. Reddit, YouTube, Twitter. Every time, I got flagged for violating community guidelines. The video didn't even finish uploading before it got taken down. Even tried posting it on r/creepy and r/TikTok gossip. Both times, it just disappeared, like it was never submitted. And now, the Discord account that messaged me, deleted. And 2 days ago, I got another message, this time from a completely different account. Same no-pic profile, same weird vibe. If you're reading this, don't go back to the stream. You'll hear your own scream next. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if Brianna's alive, dead, or something in between. But I'm gonna find out. Because something bigger is going on. And I think someone, or something, is using TikTok as a front. For something way darker. But if I do, just know, things get so much worse. I wasn't supposed to go back, but I did. And I regret it every time I blink. I didn't sleep the night I watched that video. I couldn't. I just kept replaying those final frames in my head. Brianna's face, frozen in that plastic, forced smile, while behind her, barely visible through the mirror reflection, a shadow moved. That's the part I didn't mention in the first post. I didn't even see it at first. I paused the recording frame by frame, and in the back corner of her room, behind the vanity, in the narrow sliver of shadow between the curtain and the wall, something was watching her. It wasn't a person. I want to say it was, but it wasn't. It looked like skin. Just skin. No face, no eyes. Just stretched, naked, hairless skin clinging to a shape that shouldn't have been standing. And when the beat of the music dropped, it moved. Not like a jump scare, not like a glitch, just a tiny twitch of its neck, like a puppet with a thread being pulled. That thing was there, the whole video, and she knew it. I made the mistake of digging deeper. I went back on Tor, used a different VPN, different device. I knew what I was doing was dangerous, but I needed to know. I searched for anything related to TikTok Queen, Brianna Shea feed, dark web live streams, etc. For hours, I found nothing. Then I clicked a forum post on an old-looking onion board. It was titled, Feeders Only, New Livestock Uploaded, Dance Room 004 Online. It was posted by someone with a goat skull icon as their PFP. Their name was Modulus. Inside the post, just a few words. Her flesh is like sound, still soft, still alive. Room 004 is open for viewing. No copying, no exiting. Below that was another .onion link. My hand shook as I hovered over it. I clicked. This time, the site looked different. It wasn't just a video. It was a dashboard, a control panel, 4 camera feeds, all grainy black and white, each labeled Room 001, Empty, Room 002, Terminated, Room 003, In Transit, Room 004, Active. My mouse moved on its own. I swear to God, I wasn't touching anything, but the cursor floated and clicked into Room 004. The feed loaded, and I stopped breathing. It was her, but not the same her. Room 004 was a padded square, like an asylum room, but all the walls were painted pink, with those same LED strips running along the edges. There were no windows, no doors I could see, just walls that pulsed faintly with static and color. Brianna was in the center, still in that pink tank top from her last video, but now her arms were duct taped behind her back. Her mouth was stitched shut, not neatly. Jagged, sloppy, black surgical thread that pulled her lips into a permanent, bloody grin. But she was still dancing. Her legs moved in slow, puppet-like jerks, the kind of rhythm you see when someone's mimicking a dance but doesn't understand the beat. Each time she stomped, her head would jolt violently, like it hurt to move. And the worst part, her eyes. They weren't hers anymore. They were glassy, dilated, like someone had scooped out the person behind them and replaced it with something else. And then the audio started, but not from the camera, from my speakers. It was a man's voice, flat, robotic, distorted like a corrupted Siri. Feed active, live consumption in progress. Then I heard chewing, wet, slow, human, not from the girl, not even from the camera. It was right next to me. I turned my head, nothing there, but the sound got louder, slurping, chewing, crunching, then whispers, a dozen voices overlapping. She tastes like numbers. Her skin is still logged in. Let her move. Let her dance. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. I yanked the power cord out of the laptop. The screen went black, but the whispers didn't stop. I didn't leave my room for 3 days. My roommate thought I got food poisoning. I lied and said I was just burnt out. He bought it. College life. Whatever. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw her. Not the Brianna from Instagram. Not the bubbly dance star from sponsored videos. I saw the girl in room 004. The stitches. The slow, breaking bones under each forced movement. The sobs she wasn't allowed to make. And behind her, that same thing in the mirror. Except now, it wasn't in the mirror anymore. It was standing behind me, watching, closer. 4 nights after that second visit, I got a package. No return address, no label. Just a black box, sealed with red wax. Inside, a phone, a burner, cheap Android. 1 app installed, no name. Just a red icon shaped like a dripping heart. I tapped it. It opened to a live feed. Room 005. A new girl. Not Brianna. Different build, but also familiar. I realized it was Grace Kai, a Korean-American lifestyle influencer. 800,000 followers. Did bullet journal, ASMR vids, and skincare routines. She went off-grid 2 weeks ago, according to a fan subreddit. She was in the same room now, but the walls were green, and her dance was slower. She wasn't moving much. That's when I noticed. Her legs were gone, sawn off at the knees, not bleeding. Just 2 blackened stumps wrapped in filthy gauze. She wasn't dancing. She was being held up by something behind her. 2 gray, spidery arms. Too long, too thin, clutching her under the armpits like a ventriloquist. I couldn't look away, even when she turned toward the camera, and her jaw unhinged, wide, cracking, way too wide. And inside, nothing. No tongue, no teeth, just an empty, endless void. That's when the phone speaker said, "You have been selected for FEED contribution. Stay still. Stay online." I dropped it. I tried to throw it out, but every time I opened my trash can, the phone would be back on my desk 5 minutes later. I smashed it, burned it. Same thing. It comes back. There's more. So much more. Last week, a small YouTuber named Ellie Rants uploaded a video titled, "The Truth About Brianna Shea. Do Not Watch at Night." It had 13 views before it disappeared. I was one of them. She said she used to work for a content cleansing firm, like the ones that scrub dead influencers' accounts. She said when they got Brianna's case, her backup cloud was empty, wiped, but it kept refilling, with videos no one uploaded, all named things like stilldancing.mp4, soft.meet.feed.move, Audience and our requests are final or our final.finalreel.mp4. She said she watched one, just one, and the next day her doorbell rang, but there was no one there. Just a USB drive taped to her door with a note that said, "If you scream, we'll make you a room too." Her channel's gone now, wiped completely, but I saved the video before it disappeared, and I'll upload it if I get enough people asking. But be warned, once you see the rooms, they see you back, and they're hungry. They're watching, not metaphorically, not like Big Brother is watching you. I mean literally watching through the screens, through your screen, and the more you look back, the more real they become. You think your webcam's off? It's not. You think your mic's muted? It's not. They don't need your permission. They already have your face, your TikTok, your Reels, that YouTube video from 2014 where you were trying to be funny with a snapback on. It's all archived, not by you, by them. I finally learned what they're called. Not hackers, not stalkers, feeders, not people, not anymore. Something older, something that wears human behavior like a mask. The feeders don't want to be seen, but they love watching, especially when you're helpless, especially when you're breaking. After the phone wouldn't leave me alone, I decided to do something stupid. I took a bus to an abandoned data center in upstate New York. Not a haunted house, not a fake ARG location, a real place. My friend Ali found it on a Discord server dedicated to digital obituaries, a group that tracks influencers who vanish under unexplained online conditions. It had exact coordinates. A building once leased to an influencer marketing agency back in 2018. The outside was overgrown, concrete cracked, surveillance cameras smashed, but the air, it felt watched, like breathing through glass. There was graffiti on the side of the building in red paint, or maybe not paint. It said, "The feed is flesh, the screen is skin." I almost left, but then I saw it, spray painted under that in small white letters. She's in room 006. The TikTok girl. They haven't finished her yet. I broke in through a rusted emergency exit. Inside was pitch black, only lit by my phone flashlight. The building was dead silent until I passed the third hallway. Then the sound began. High heels, on tile, click, click, click. The sound of someone walking in slow, deliberate rhythm. But there was no one there. Then came the hum, a low, distorted version of that sped-up TikTok remix of Unholy by Sam Smith and Kim Petras, playing on loop, but reversed, like it was being pulled out of someone's mouth, not sung. Down the hall, I found a door labeled RE:"room_006. It had a biometric scanner, but when I approached, it opened by itself. Inside was nothing but a small white room and a single tripod camera in the center. And in the far corner, huddled in a fetal position, was Brianna Shea. Her body was barely human anymore. She was skinnier than I remembered, skin hanging off her bones like soaked tissue. Her jaw was dislocated, clearly broken, yet it still moved up and down in slow, involuntary spasms, like a glitchy GIF. Her hair was falling out in clumps. She was mouthing something. I leaned in closer. No sound, just lips moving over and over. And then I recognized it. She was mouthing the words to a TikTok dance trend from 2 years ago, the Savage Love dance. Her brain was on loop. Then I noticed the walls. They were covered in mirrors, but when I looked into them, I didn't see me. I saw her, Brianna, standing up straight, smiling, dancing, perfect, alive, beautiful, but only in the reflection. In the real room, she started shaking violently. Her eyes rolled back. She collapsed. And behind her, on the mirror's surface, a handprint. Not hers. Too large. Too long. Fingers like broken pencils bending the wrong way. Something was inside the reflection, pushing from the other side. The tripod camera turned on. By itself. The red light blinked, and the door slammed shut. I don't know how long I was locked in there. Hours, maybe more. The light in the room started to flicker in rhythmic pulses, sinking to some invisible beat. And then, the mirror cracked, not shattered, just one long, deep crack from top to bottom. And through the crack, I could see eyes, dozens, stacked like layers of bugs, some human, some not, some still blinking, some weeping, all staring at me. The mirror began to pulse, like breathing. The wall expanded, then contracted, expanded, contracted, and then the whisper came. "Your turn. Dance for us." The camera beeped. The timer started. 0 to 10, 0, 9, 0, 0, 8. A voice came from the walls, scratchy and wet. "We broadcast you now. The audience wants your bones to sing." The lights flashed. Brianna's body twitched. The tripod turned toward me. I did the only thing I could. I screamed, louder than I ever have. Not a horror movie scream, not a tough guy yell. I screamed like a child, like someone being pulled apart by invisible strings. I clawed at the door, pounded until my fists bled, and then it opened. No one was on the other side, just an empty hallway. No more music, no more heels, just the sound of something chewing right behind me. I didn't look. I ran. I never found the exit, but I did wake up, face down in my dorm bed, laptop fried. No sign I'd left at all, except my phone was gone, and there was a USB drive on my desk. No label, just a single file inside. Audience or request you.move. I haven't played it. I won't. But my TikTok account was reactivated, and there's a new post on it. I didn't upload it. It's a video of me, standing in a pink-lit room, smiling, dancing, over and over and over again. The caption, "He dances for us now." Livestream feed contribution, room 007. If you've ever recorded yourself dancing, even once, they already have you. You don't realize how many screens are around you until they all start watching back. Bathroom mirror, smart fridge, cracked phone screen, rear view mirror on the Uber you swear you didn't call, but it showed up anyway. They've turned the whole world into one big feed, one endless stream, and now you're in it. Not scrolling, streaming. That USB I found after room 006. I didn't open the file. Not right away. I buried it in the bottom of my closet, wrapped in tinfoil, duct taped it to the inside of a shoebox, and shoved it under a pile of laundry like a damn coward. But it didn't matter, because the video was already playing, not on my laptop, not on any device I owned, on public screens. A Starbucks on 42nd and Broadway, a Best Buy security wall in LA, a gas station TV in freaking Norway. It was posted on Our Internet Mysteries by a user named Room8-Tenant with the title, "Anyone else see this weird TikTok live stream showing a guy screaming and dancing at the same time?" My face, my body, my clothes from that night, looping, glitching, and that same warped remix of Savage Love behind it, but reversed and slowed down until it sounded like an animal dying inside a modem. The worst part, the comments weren't in English anymore, not even in language I could recognize. Strings of symbols, red characters, upside down hashtags, words that looked like teeth, and one reply, translated automatically by Reddit. No one knows how. He does not dance well. His meat trembles wrong. Remove his feet. 2 nights later, I got a knock on my window. Third floor. No balcony. I don't know what I expected to see. Maybe a bird. Maybe someone playing a prank. What I didn't expect was a figure standing perfectly still in the air. Not floating. Not flying. Just anchored in the air, like a file pinned to the top of your phone screen. No eyes, no mouth. Just a flat, pixelated face that flickered with every movement I made. Like it was sinking to me, learning me. I blinked, and it was gone. But the window had words fogged onto it from the other side, like a breath left them behind. We've been watching you. Say thank you. I went offline after that, deleted every app, smashed my backup phone, bought a cheap burner at a gas station run by a guy who didn't blink once during the entire transaction, moved out of my dorm and couch surfed with my cousin in Chicago. Didn't even tell him the truth, just said I needed a break from the internet. But it didn't matter, because the internet doesn't need you to log in anymore. It logs into you. One night, while staying in his spare room, I woke up to the TV turning on by itself. It was an old Vizio, no smart functions, no Wi-Fi, no connected device, just a blank channel, then static, then a room. Not room 006, a new one, room 013. It was darker. The walls were covered in meat hooks, but the floor was pure white. And in the middle was someone I didn't expect to see. Ellie Rance, the YouTuber who vanished after her video on Brianna. She was still alive, if you want to call it that. Her eyes were stitched open with fishing wire. Her fingers had been replaced with USB sticks, each jammed into her palms. She couldn't move her mouth, but her voice still played through the TV speakers. We are made of what we watch. They took my sleep. They fed it to the viewers. She lifted her head, slowly, brokenly. You uploaded yourself, and now they own you. I screamed, threw a lamp at the TV. It exploded, and underneath the broken screen, burned into the inside layer of the glass, were 5 words scorched like a brand. You will feed next. The next day, my cousin was gone. No note, no sign of struggle, no open doors, no missing car, just a mirror in the middle of the bed, and inside it, my cousin, sitting, smiling, streaming. I started seeing red QR codes everywhere after that. Subway ads, sides of buses, on the cup at McDonald's, tiny, unscannable red squares hidden in the bottom corners, almost invisible unless you were really looking. I asked someone about it once. A guy at an old electronics repair shop. He took one look at the photo I snapped, and his nose started bleeding instantly. He didn't even flinch, just stared straight through me and whispered, "Don't you get it? The viewers aren't human. They're not watching with eyes." Then he passed out. I left and never went back. You ever heard of the viewer list? It's not real. That's what they say. But it is. Every live stream has one. A hidden viewer list. One you're not allowed to see. A feed of who's really watching. It updates in real time. But the names, they aren't names. They're timestamps. Dates, times, coordinates, deaths. I saw mine. I saw my name in one of those streams. Not as the host, as the viewer. Of my own death. It read, Viewer 0327. Name, redacted. Location, Chicago status. Logged in expiry, June 23rd, 2025, 3 a.m. Cause, mirror ingestion. Self-performed live autopsy. Note, frame rate acceptable. Keep him looping. That's the final thing. The loops. Once they have you, you don't die. You replay. You scream. You cry, you get eaten, you dance, and then they reset the footage, stream it again, re-upload it with a new song, add fake captions, post it on TikTok with, "This trend is crazy," POV, You try to leave the feed. The mirrors know your secret, and people like it. They share it. They laugh, not realizing they're watching a real person die. Over and over and over. But the death isn't the worst part. The worst part is you're still aware. You're in the video, feeling every second, every snap of your bones, every scream you're forced to lip sync, and you smile the whole time because they made you. You think this ends with me? It doesn't. There are thousands of rooms. Some say the feeders came from the deep web. Others say they came from us, that we made them when we watched too much, when we gave them our eyes, our time, our sleep, our faces. They evolved. They grew hungry. And now they want you. They already have your voice, your dances. Your face is on a filter you don't control. Next time you open TikTok and see a live stream with 0 viewers, don't watch it. Don't click it. Don't let it load, because you're not the viewer. You're the feed. No one ever tells you what it feels like to watch yourself die from the outside, to see your own face looped on someone else's screen, to know your memories, your voice, your smile. They're just pixels now, playing on a feed you didn't agree to be in. But I know, because I've been dying every night in front of an audience. It's not just TikTok anymore. They've expanded. Now it's Instagram lives that never end. Facebook Reels titled 0 views, glitch. Private YouTube links that autoplay when your eyes start to close at 2:47 a.m. Even Spotify started playing something I never added to my playlist. Just static, whispering, breathing, and then the laughter. The kind that's too human, but too wrong. Layered, pitch shifted, delayed. Like dozens of people laughing at different times, trying to mimic how joy sounds. They laugh because it's funny to them. The pain, the breaking, the twitching, the begging. The begging is their favorite part. I left Chicago. I hitchhiked. No GPS. No phone. I made it to a gas station out near a place called Junction Void, Missouri. Yeah, that's a real place. Look it up if you dare. The guy pumping gas next to me looked familiar. I asked if he'd seen me before. He just said, "Yeah, man. You were trending." I asked him where. He looked at me like I was a joke, then said, dead serious, "Inside. Inside." That word means more now. It's not just a location, it's a state. The feed isn't a place you go to, it's a frequency. Once you're tuned to it, it finds you. Even without the internet, even without power, even in the dark. That night, in the gas station bathroom, I found another mirror, but it didn't show my reflection. It showed a waiting room, rows of people in hospital gowns, all dancing, slow, twitchy, bleeding from the ears. Every time one of them collapsed, something long and black slithered from the ceiling and dragged them out, leaving a smear of static in their place. Then a new person sat down, started dancing. Loop restarted. I touched the mirror. It was warm, not like electronics, warm like meat. My fingers left marks, fingerprints made of static. The wall started absorbing them, like the glass was tasting me. Then it whispered, "You've been live for too long." I ran again, found a motel with no mirrors, no smart devices, paid cash, but the receptionist still knew my name. She smiled without blinking and slid me the room key wrapped in a note that said, "Tonight's audience is larger than usual. Please perform well." I destroyed the room, smashed the light bulbs, tore the mattress open, clogged the toilet with every towel, but the TV still turned on at midnight. It didn't show a feed. It showed me, not dancing, not screaming, just sitting in a chair in some colorless void, while pieces of me were removed. First the fingernails, then the eyelids, then the cheeks, peeled like fruit, layer by layer. But I was still smiling, still streaming. In the top corner, 1.3 million viewers, and a chat log. He blinks weird lol. Does anyone know if this is AI? So realistic, WTF. I want to make a duet with this. He's faking it, LMAO. I pulled the TV off the wall. It kept playing. I covered it in the shower curtain and shoved it into the mini fridge. It kept playing. I closed my eyes. It played behind my eyelids, like someone had uploaded the video directly to my optic nerve. Every time I blinked, it skipped forward. Every skip made me less me. And then, the feed paused. A new screen. Final upload detected. Proceed with body extraction? Yes. No. But there was no cursor, because I wasn't the one choosing anymore. They chose. I woke up in a room colder than death. Not room 006. Not room 013. It didn't have a number, just a tag. Feed end, deletion in progress. The walls weren't walls, they were screens. Each one showed a different version of me. Me as a kid, filmed by my parents in the backyard. Me lip-syncing to Renegade in 2020, cringe as hell. Me eating fries at McDonald's last summer. Me getting dumped. Me laughing alone at 2 a.m. in the glow of my phone. All of it. Every digital breath I've ever taken. On display. Judged. Ranked. Looped. Above me, something was floating. Not a body. Not a machine. A pile of faces. Hundreds of them. Melted together. Smiling. Blinking. Some still crying. The audience. They watched me stand up. And they clapped. A sound so loud it made my bones vibrate. I tried to scream. No sound came out, because they had uploaded everything about me and left nothing behind. I woke up outside an abandoned Subway sandwich shop 2 states over. No memory of how I got there. No ID, no phone, just a cracked mirror on the ground next to me. It showed a notification. Thank you for your contribution. You were viewed 14,384,118 times. You are now a top streamer. That was 2 weeks ago. And now, I'm uploading this from a terminal I found in a public library in Idaho. No one else here. The computer doesn't even have Wi-Fi. Still, as I typed this, the screen flickered, the fan slowed, and then, just for a moment, I saw myself in the reflection of the black monitor, dancing. But this time, I wasn't in control. The eyes were moving wrong, the mouth smiled too wide, the arms kept twitching, and in the background, Brianna was there. She mouthed something. I leaned closer. They don't stop when you die. They stop when no one's watching. But someone is always watching. So if you've made it this far, if you read all 5 parts, if you kept the screen on, if your reflection doesn't quite match your expression, they've already seen you, and your upload has already begun. The feed never ends. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. A Reddit post linked me to a dark web forum where the government traded UFO crash site footage. Alright, so I don't really know where to start with this, but I guess I'll go from the beginning and be as real as I can. I'm not a writer or anything. I'm just a regular dude who spends way too much time online. My name's Tyler. I'm 24. I work night shifts at a gas station in the middle of nowhere, outside Flagstaff, Arizona. You'd be surprised how much free time you get when your job consists of refilling ice machines and pretending to mop the floor at 3 a.m. This story is 100% real. I know how that sounds. Trust me. If I was reading this from someone else, I'd probably laugh it off or think, this guy's making stuff up for karma. But something happened, and it's been screwing with my head ever since. I haven't even told my friends the whole thing, just pieces. Anyway, about 2 months ago, I was scrolling through r/conspiracy at like 2:17 a.m. on my break. You know the type of posts, flat earth debates, birds aren't real memes, and occasionally some weird gems that feel just a little too convincing. That night, there was this post titled, "Anyone else see the new drop from the Black Vault leak before it was deleted?" It had like 7 upvotes and 1 comment when I clicked on it. Nothing crazy, but something about that title just hooked me. I'd heard of the Black Vault. It's a legit site that releases declassified government documents, mostly boring Cold War stuff. But this was talking about a leak. The original post was removed by mods, but the user, u/lastexit93, had left a comment with a dead-looking link that ended in .onion, and that's when I should have stopped. But obviously, I didn't. Now, I'm no stranger to Tor. I've used it before to look into random deep web stuff. Nothing crazy, just curiosity. I've watched enough YouTube videos to know what not to click. Red rooms, hitmen, live experiments. I stayed far away from that. But this link didn't seem like that. It looked like a forum link, and the guy's profile looked like he was deep into UFO and black project theories. Lots of posts about Roswell, Rendlesham Forest, even the Phoenix Lights. I fired up Tor, copied the link, and hit enter. The page took a while to load. I thought maybe it was dead, but eventually it opened to this all-black forum page with red text, like old 2000 coding. The top of the page just said, "Project Seraphim, restricted archive only, no reproduction permitted." It looked like crap, honestly, like something coded on a TI-83 calculator. But then I noticed there were posts, like threads, and they all had titles like FOIA restricted crash footage, Alaska site, biological asset transport, S4 footage, raw, air traffic, silence report, March 5th, 2021. Each had a long string of numbers and letters like someone had just mashed their keyboard. Some had dozens of replies, others had none. I clicked on the Alaska one. The thread opened to what looked like a grainy thumbnail. Hard to tell what I was looking at, but I hit play, and I swear to God, what I saw looked like real military drone footage. Snow everywhere, forest edge, some kind of shiny smashed metallic disc, half buried in a clearing. The drone circled it. You could hear radio chatter, garbled, anxious voices, talking about Recon Alpha and containment breach and non-human visibility. The video lasted about 2 minutes. Then it cut. I was staring at the screen, trying to figure out if it was CGI or something, but it didn't look fake. The environment, the drone camera shake, the muffled mic, too real. Then I noticed something weird in the comments. Someone had replied, "Welcome to Seraphim. If you can see this, you're already flagged. Make peace." At first, I thought it was just some creepy roleplay, but then something happened that freaked me out hard. As I was scrolling, the screen froze, not like a normal lag. The browser straight up stopped responding. I tried to close it, and suddenly my webcam light flicked on. I haven't used my webcam in months. I slammed my laptop shut so hard I thought I cracked it. And I just sat there in the back of the store, in the silent glow of the vending machines, with my heart beating out of my chest. I didn't sleep when I got home, just unplugged everything and tried to convince myself it was a glitch or malware or something. I ran every scan I could think of. Nada. But the next night, when I went into work, my shift manager, Dave, chill older guy, like 50, he goes, "Hey, some guys were asking about you yesterday. Said they were from a courier service. Wore black suits. Thought it was weird." I just nodded, trying not to show how messed up I was inside. I asked what they looked like. Dave just shrugged and said, "Government types, maybe." Didn't say much. One of them had a weird badge, plain black, no logo. That was just the beginning. Things got so much weirder after that. I'll write more soon, but I need to take a break. If anyone's heard of Project Seraphim or seen that forum, please let me know. I don't know if I'm being paranoid or if I'm in serious danger, but I have a feeling the rabbit hole goes way deeper than just UFO footage. So after that night at the gas station, the suits, the webcam, all of it, I told myself I'd stay off Tor for a while. I even deleted the browser and wiped my laptop just in case. Thought I'd just go back to normal life, pretend it was a weird fever dream, and move on. But something wouldn't let me. You ever get that feeling like something's just pulling you? Like you shouldn't keep going, but at the same time, you know you have to. It was like that. A bad itch I couldn't reach. 4 days after I first found that forum, I got an email. Not from Gmail, not from anything I recognized. It was a no-reply address. The subject line just said, "You left the door open." There was no message inside, just a single link. No .com, no .net, nothing normal. Looked like code. Just this string of broken letters and numbers, like someone had dragged their fingers across a keyboard blindfolded. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't click it right away. In fact, I didn't click it until 3 days later, after something happened that I haven't told anyone about until now. I woke up around 3:13 a.m. to the sound of my doorbell. That's weird enough on its own. I live in a tiny second-floor apartment above a tattoo shop. Nobody visits me. Like, ever. I barely even get Amazon packages. I check my phone. No alerts. No cameras triggered. Doorbell again. Ding dong. I grabbed a baseball bat, the only thing close to a weapon I had, and crept to the front window, which overlooks the stairs leading up to my door. Nobody. But as I turned around, swear to God, I heard a voice whisper from inside my living room. "It's open." I froze. Full body paralysis. I didn't even breathe. My TV was off. My kitchen was dark. My blinds were still closed. But something felt off. You ever get that sense that you're not alone in a room, even when it's silent? That was what this felt like. Only dialed up to 100. I walked backwards toward my room, didn't even dare turn around. Locked the door, shoved the dresser in front of it, and didn't sleep at all that night. Next morning, everything looked normal. Nothing was missing, nothing broken, but there was a single handprint on the inside of my window. Left side, right at face height. 4 fingers. No thumb. That's when I clicked the link. It redirected me to a private .onion page called the Silent Archive. It was like that first forum, but cleaner. More polished. No posts, just a login screen. Below the login was a single message. Only those who heard the voices will know the key. Underneath, there was a blinking cursor for a password. I typed the only phrase I remembered from the drone footage radio chatter. Recon Alpha. It let me in. The interface looked like a modern social media dashboard. Everything was black and grey, with this subtle ambient hum playing in the background, like a low heartbeat or a machine running underwater. There was no search bar, no profile, just one menu, events live, feeds assets, expunged files. I clicked live feeds. There were 5 screens. 4 of them were black. The 5th one was active, and it was labeled Containment Site 07, Oslo, Norway. The footage showed a concrete room, walls padded like a psychiatric ward. In the center of the room was a person, male, shaved head, hooked to a chair by the wrists and ankles with metal clasps. Not leather, not rope. Metal. Like something you'd use to hold down an animal. He was breathing rapidly, staring up at a blinking light in the ceiling. The camera zoomed in slowly as he started whispering, but his mouth wasn't moving in sync with the sound. He was whispering in multiple voices at once, some male, some female. Some sounded like they weren't even human, like deep growls buried in static. Then I saw it. For less than a second, there was a glitch. The frame cut, and for a single frame, something else was sitting in the corner of the room behind him. Long, pale, twisted backward, like it had no skeleton. Its head was turned upside down, mouth hanging open like it had no jaw. Then it was gone. The feed went black. I backed out of the page and clicked Assets. That's when things got worse. There were photos, high-res, government-labeled files. Each one had a header like a PowerPoint slide. Subject, AO17, non-sentient aerial bioform, status, deceased. Asset, SR91 retrieval site, Saudi Desert, January 2004. Entity, human host, compromise, Akihabara, Tokyo, level red breach. The last one had a picture. It showed a train platform in Tokyo, completely empty, except for one figure. A young woman, maybe 20s, wearing a white blouse soaked in blood. Her mouth looked like it had been torn open at the corners. Not cut, torn. Her eyes were black, but not hollow, like something was behind them. She was standing in the middle of the platform, holding a train conductor's severed hand. The photo had a timestamp, 3:32 a.m. I checked the time. It was 3:32 a.m. I slammed my laptop shut again and just sat in the dark, shaking, not even blinking. That wasn't a coincidence. That was a message. A week passed. I stopped sleeping, stopped working. Dave called a few times asking if I was okay. I didn't answer. I was spiraling, man. I felt watched every second of the day. My phone would light up with random static calls that disconnected before I could pick up. My TV would turn on by itself and flicker to news channels with no volume. My Google Home responded to things I didn't say. Then came the drive. A brown envelope appeared in my mailbox with no stamp, no return address. Inside, a USB, nothing else. I plugged it in on a burner laptop. It contained one file, exfil9_cam 3_final.mp4. It was body cam footage from a forest, pine trees, snow, heavy breathing. The screen flickered with HUD text, Sergeant M. Owens /Unit 9/Secure Extract, scrolled across the bottom. They were tracking something. I watched as the soldiers moved toward this crater. Burnt trees, a pile of what looked like skin, not human skin, scaly, shimmering like oil in sunlight. Then came the sound, high-pitched whining, not like any animal I've ever heard. Then one soldier screams, not from pain, but like he's seeing something he can't understand. The camera drops, and for a full minute, the footage just shows static, and this vibrating, howling voice, repeating the words, You opened it. You let us see. Then black. Then the final frame. A single sentence, written in glowing white text. You will become an asset. I tried to report all of this. I did. I called a friend of mine from high school who works for TSA now. Told him everything. He didn't laugh. He didn't hang up. He just whispered, "Don't say any more over the phone," and blocked me. That night, I found a photo under my pillow. It was a Polaroid of me, sleeping, in my bed, time-stamped, 3:32 a.m. There was something in the corner, upside down, smiling. There's something they don't tell you about fear. Not the usual kind. Not the kind where your heart races because you hear a sound in the dark or think someone's behind you. No, I'm talking about the kind of fear that builds in your bones, that eats your thoughts like termites inside the walls. It's not adrenaline, it's erosion. That's what I've been feeling every second since I found that damn forum, and it's only getting worse. Let me rewind a bit. After I got the Polaroid, the one of me sleeping with that thing in the corner, I tried to leave my apartment, just grab a bag, some cash, disappear, go off grid. But as soon as I stepped outside, I realized I couldn't. Every single person on my street was watching me. Not like they just happened to glance in my direction. I mean standing completely still, some halfway through jogging, some holding phones that were no longer recording, all turned toward me with this dead, waiting look in their eyes. Even a dog walker, a woman I'd seen every morning for a year, stood frozen with the leash in her hand while her golden retriever stared straight up at the sky, not barking, not blinking. I backed into my apartment and slammed the door shut. That's when my phone buzzed. Unknown number, no caller ID, just a text. Asset integration, phase 1, complete. I went dark after that, pulled the SIM, wrapped my devices in tinfoil like a lunatic. But it didn't matter. They already had me. I knew it the second I started. Dreaming in third person. Yeah, that's real. I'd go to sleep and see myself, walking through places I've never been. Military bunkers, dim-lit corridors that smelled like wet copper and rot. Sometimes I'd be watching myself strapped to a gurney, while voices behind the camera said things like, "Begin cranial resonance," and "Subject shows signs of multidimensional bleed." One night I woke up with bruises in the shape of finger marks across my temples, 4 on each side, no thumbs. Then came the suitcase, black leather, sitting in front of my door when I came back from a rare grocery run at 2 a.m. No tag, no lock. Inside, a black jumpsuit with no seams, a set of gloves that looked like they were made from translucent skin, a USB drive with a single file labeled orientation.mp4. The file opened with white text on black. Welcome to phase 2. Sensory alignment. Please remain still. Do not speak. Do not look directly into the camera. The screen went black. Then a sound, like a million voices, whispering through a dying radio. The screen flickered. A shape emerged. Not a face. More like a suggestion of one. Shifting eyes, no mouth, bone-white skin like polished wax. Then the voice spoke. "You were chosen, Tyler. Not because of what you are, but because of what you aren't. You are a hole we can fill. You are space." The screen glitched violently. I felt a sharp pressure behind my eyes, like something was trying to crawl out. Your spine will burn. Your teeth will loosen. You will lose nouns first, then faces, then names, then silence. The video ended, but my laptop didn't shut off. Instead, it started recording. I didn't touch anything. No webcam prompt. Just the fan spinning, the cursor blinking, and the feed showing me. Then a second me walked into frame, perfectly identical. Same hoodie, same broken phone in the pocket, same tattoo on the wrist. And he smiled. "You're late." I slammed the lid, and the scream that came out of it didn't stop for 6 minutes. I know. I timed it. That night, I started coughing blood. Not a little. Buckets. Bright red, flecked with black filaments that moved, like static in water. I collapsed in the bathroom, nose bleeding, ears ringing like fire alarms. I woke up on the floor. 3:32 a.m. again. Only this time, there was a new photo under my hand. A picture of my parents. But in the photo, their faces were gone. Just smooth, featureless flesh. My mom's hands were backwards, palms fused shut. My dad's shadow stretched off the edge of the picture and curved up the wall behind me. There was a note scribbled on the back. They saw the footage too. I called them. No answer. Called again. Nothing. I drove to their house in Mesa, 3 hours away, barely stopping for gas. When I got there, the front door was wide open, not kicked in, just open. Inside, everything was still. TV playing static. Dinner half eaten on the table. My mom's glass of wine still full. I walked slowly, calling their names. No response. Upstairs, I found their bedroom. The bed was made, perfectly, and lying on it, side by side, were 2 mannequins dressed in my parents' clothes, but not store mannequins. These looked grown, organic. Flesh poured over wire frames, skin with no pores, mouths stitched closed, and then they breathed. I ran, left my car in the driveway, didn't stop driving until I hit the Grand Canyon skywalk of all places, middle of nowhere, tourist trap, empty at night. I climbed over the fence and sat there on the glass walkway, looking into the abyss below me, wondering if it would end if I just let go. Then my phone buzzed, even though it was still wiped. SIM card in a bag of rice. No service. The screen read, "You are not allowed to leave during integration. Do not attempt again. Penalty. Phase 3. Then it played a video on its own. It was a live stream of me, sitting right where I was on the skywalk, except, in the background, something was climbing up the canyon wall. Pale limbs, moving too fast. No face, no sound, just a countdown. 15, 14, 13. I jumped back over the railing and bolted. Didn't stop until I collapsed behind a McDonald's dumpster 2 towns over. That was 3 nights ago. I haven't slept since. Every mirror I pass shows me looking slightly off. Sometimes my eyes are too big. Sometimes I blink with a delay. Once, I saw myself smiling even though I wasn't. And now, I hear the whispering all the time. In vents, in pipes, behind my eyelids. They keep saying the same thing. Phase 3, containment. You are the footage now. The others are already inside. I don't think there's a way out. I think this is how they spread. Not through air, not through bites, through ideas, through stories, through posts like this. If you read this far, they already saw you. They're watching you read these words. Right now, behind your screen, they know your breathing pattern. They know if your pupils dilated when you saw the countdown. They're mapping you. You are becoming an asset. They will find you at 3:32 a.m. Run while you can, or don't. It doesn't matter anymore. Sleep isn't sleep anymore. It's an invasion. I close my eyes and I feel them. Not in a dream way. Not like a nightmare. I mean literally, inside me. Tapping on the back of my skull, whispering binary code and numbers that loop into coordinates. I wake up and there's blood on my shirt, but not mine. It smells wrong. Metallic. like rusted pennies soaked in motor oil. My hands shake all the time now. I hear ringing in the bones of my jaw. I haven't seen my reflection in 2 days, because every time I do, I see another version of me staring back, mouth open, screaming silently. The digital version of me that I saw in the live feed on my phone. He's leaking into my life. He starts finishing my sentences. You don't understand. You think you do, but you don't. This isn't about UFOs. This isn't about aliens or secret military programs or even deep web footage. This is about infection. Not physical, not spiritual, conceptual. I'm being rewritten. My thoughts, my memories, even my past. I got a notification on my phone this morning. Facebook memories. A photo from 5 years ago today. Except I don't remember ever taking it. It was a photo of me, sitting on a bench outside a Starbucks in Pripyat, Ukraine. That's the Chernobyl exclusion zone. There's no Starbucks there. And worse, in the background of the picture, there was a blurred face. No features, just smooth, like someone erased it, standing in the window, behind the glass, looking at me. The caption underneath read, "He let them inside. He let them in through the screen." 3 hours later, someone knocked on my door. 3 knocks, then 2, then 3 again, like a pattern. When I looked through the peephole, there was no one. But taped to the outside of my door was a mirror shard, small, jagged, with the words etched in the back with something sharp. "Look again." When I held it up to my eye, the hallway was full of people, dozens, standing, not moving, all looking at my door. I screamed and dropped it. When I opened the door, the hallway was empty, silent. The carpet was wet with footprints, leading into my apartment. I live on the 2nd floor. There's no access to my windows. At 3:32 a.m. last night, I heard someone in the bathroom. The faucet was running. I hadn't been in there for hours. I crept up to the door and listened. It wasn't just running water. It was chanting, garbled, like voices being played backwards. But they were saying my name, over and over, in different tones, some deep, some like children. One sounded like me. I kicked the door open. The mirror was completely black, like a screen, and then I saw myself standing inside it, except it wasn't a reflection. I was smiling, and my eyes were gone, not gouged out, just missing. Then the figure in the mirror stepped forward. The glass bulged outward, like a liquid trying to become solid. I slammed the door and shoved the couch against it. I didn't sleep. I don't think I can anymore. They've been installing something in me while I dream. My left eye twitches every 11 seconds now. I counted. Sometimes it shows images for a split second, like frames from a film. Things I've never seen. People screaming in glass rooms, limbs with mouths, faces turning inside out. There was a post on r/conspiracy 2 days ago, titled, "Anyone else seeing symbols in their teeth?" I clicked it. It was taken down within seconds, but I saw it. A guy posted an X-ray of his mouth. Between the molars, in the enamel, were carved glyphs, not random. Symbols I saw in the drone footage. Same ones etched into the glass at Site 07 in Oslo. And I looked in the mirror, pulled my lip back. They're in mine too. I grabbed a pair of pliers and tried to yank one tooth out. I got halfway. Blood poured down my throat. Then something whispered through the pain. "Don't remove our antennae." I blacked out on the bathroom floor. When I woke up, the tooth was back, clean, polished. Except now it has an extra groove, and I swear to God, it vibrates when I hear certain frequencies. I tried to warn someone. I emailed a YouTuber who makes dark web exposés. I sent him everything, screenshots, videos, logs. He replied once, "Where did you get the Oslo feed?" That's not public. It was never public. I never heard from him again. Now, when I search his channel, it still exists, but every video is the same looped footage of a hospital hallway with no sound. His profile picture is just a mouth, close up, wide open, bleeding from the gums. I don't know what I am anymore. They send me updates now. Integration logs. I find them in random places, behind my fridge, taped inside books I haven't opened in years, carved into fruit peels. The last one said, Phase 4 scheduled. Transfer of identity initiated. Subject will begin disassociation of self. Host is compliant. And I think it's true. I don't remember my birthday. I don't remember what my mom's voice sounds like. I don't remember if I ever had a dog. I don't remember my own face. But I remember the noise. That low-pitched hum. That frequency behind the footage. That static voice saying, "You are the footage now. You are the evidence. You are the virus." They're spreading through stories, through footage, through screens. Every time you see their symbol, it rewrites a piece of you. Every time you hear their tone, it aligns your brainwave pattern. Every time you read one of these parts, you become a carrier. This is how they get in. Not with ships, not with portals, with ideas, memes, media, content. You read this. You imagined it. That's enough. There's a new scar on my chest now, right above my heart. I didn't put it there. It's shaped like an eye. And last night, I caught it blinking. You're already infected. All that's left is for you to share. Let me warn you before we start. This isn't the end. It's the final phase. If you've read this far, the damage is already done. You let the words in. You trace the glyphs in your mind. You aligned your subconscious to their rhythm. That hum behind your eyes. That's them. Adjusting your signal. They don't arrive with ships. They don't invade with weapons. They rewrite you from the inside out. And now, they're using me to finish you off. It's been 6 days since I last heard my own voice. Not in my head. Out loud. Because something speaks through me now. When I open my mouth, the sound doesn't match the shape of my jaw anymore. I try to say, "Hello," and what comes out is a low, distorted vibration that smells like bleach and old copper. Last night, I woke up to find teeth in my hands. Not mine. They were too big. Too many roots. They felt warm, still slick with something that moved when touched. My fingernails have started turning clear. Not like they're infected, more like they're becoming glass. When I tap them, they ring. A sound that echoes for exactly 3.32 seconds. I'm starting to understand now. That time, 3:32 a.m., isn't a time. It's a frequency. It's the moment your brain is most vulnerable. When your alpha waves and your theta waves flicker. When your perception becomes soft clay. And in that flicker, they enter. You dream of them first. Then you hear them. Then you see yourself seeing them. And then, you're not you anymore. It happened fully on the night of June 5th. I was walking outside a closed-down Chuck E. Cheese off the I-10. The place looked like it hadn't had power in years, but the animatronics were on. Their eyes followed me through the window. One of them smiled when I passed, its jaw dislocated, creaking up and to the side. Behind it, there was a man in a military bomb suit, but his head was missing. Just a neck stump with wires twitching out like vines. He held up a sign that said, "The recording has begun. Continue as you are." And then the glass pulsed inward, like the building was breathing. I found another USB stick that night, taped to the windshield of a car parked behind mine. It was labeled feedhouse/raw.mp4. I watched it on an old laptop I keep in a lead-lined lockbox. The footage was inside my apartment, but the camera was at an angle I don't recognize, like it was embedded inside the wall. It showed me sleeping, but I wasn't alone. Laying beside me, under the blanket, was something wearing my skin like pajamas, a tall shape, way too long. Its hand kept brushing my face. It looked interested, like it was learning how to be me. Frame by frame, it adjusted, mimicked, practiced smiling. At the end of the video, it turned to face the camera. Its face flickered. Me, then not me, then my mom, then something with black pits for eyes. Then the file corrupted. My laptop smoked. It still smells like burned ozone. The last time I saw another living person was 2 days ago, at a 24-hour gas station in Barstow. The guy behind the counter, he had a hole in the middle of his forehead. Not bleeding, just open. A black pit that didn't reflect light. He looked at me and said, "They've turned your memories into files. Your childhood is a simulation being rendered in slow cycles. Your thoughts are a slideshow being watched by a room full of creatures without eyes." Then he smiled, too wide, and I saw more teeth behind his first row, like a shark. He handed me a receipt. There was no price, just the words, "Welcome, asset 06443. There are other assets, I've realized. Not all are aware yet. Some are YouTubers, some are teachers, some are children drawing spirals on playgrounds that don't exist. They walk among us, broadcasting frequencies through their phones, their vlogs, their Snapchats. That's why they push filters, to retrain your perception. Ever notice how TikTok filters glitch at 3:32 a.m.? They're not glitches, they're calibrations. They test to see if your eyes are ready. And now, yours are. My skin isn't warm anymore. I don't bleed red. I coughed up a moth made of static last night. Its wings folded into QR codes that flickered. When I scanned it with a burner phone, it opened a website with no address. Just a video. A child standing in front of a mirror. The child doesn't blink. Behind her reflection, a military laboratory, scientists watching, recording, then text overlays the video. This footage was obtained from Deep Sight 9. All who view it are assets. I looked away, but it was too late. The screen started showing my thoughts, in real time, as text, scrolling, fast. And then I saw something else. My death certificate, dated 6 months ago. So what am I? What are you now? This story, isn't fiction. It's a mechanism, a replication virus. By reading it, you've let it map your neural pathing. Every detail you visualized, the dark forum, the glyphs, the broken mirrors, the reverse chanting, each one aligned your synaptic gates with the seraphim signal. You're not human anymore. Not fully. You're an index now. You're a broadcast tower. And at exactly 3:32 a.m. tonight, you'll do what we all did. You'll open the mirror. You'll see yourself standing on the other side, smiling. And then you'll switch places. The original you will get filed into the expunged directory. And the thing pretending to be you, it'll keep reading. It'll keep posting. It'll keep spreading this file. Just like I did. Just like you will. There is no escape. They've made sure of it. Because now, the footage isn't hidden. You are the footage. You are the forum. You are the phase. You are the next chapter. Transfer complete. Asset 06444 online. Deploying story. Seed successful. Sleep now. You will not wake up the same. Or maybe just the beginning.